And now, Bottom Split Theatre.
Welcome back, everybody, to the third race in our presentation tonight. We've got the Global MX5 Cup for you at Okayama International Circuit. It's going to be a 10-lap race. I'll go ahead and pass it over to the announcers, Alex Albert and David Haynes. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, so we have the cars on the grid. We expect the green anytime here. Engines are starting to rev. On the pole is Keith Lyons. Starting next to him will be Zach Hill, Isaac Shavira, and Ricardo Tatiyama. Jared Fortner and Tommy Martin are your top six. Vaughn Temple, Jason Kinzer, Michael Liriano, and Pedro Martinez Quiles rounds out our field.
Although I'm not sure Pedro has actually made it to the grid for this race. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. So we might just have the 9 cars for this, but looking at the qualifying times, there's some pretty close times. We'll have some good racing.
All right, so I think our grid is filled out with everyone that's here. I hear the revs coming up, and there it is.
Looks like a good jump from Zach Hill, I think. Looks to the inside, but maybe just too far back to make a move into the first corner. Yep, that gets covered off. So our pole sitter continues on into the lead.
Yeah. As you see, Keith able to run his line here.
Ricardo Tatiyama gets pushed wide into the second corner, loses his momentum in some spots. Behind him, they're almost going 3 wide. Vaughn Temple comes through, and he's looking at Ricardo now. And behind him, so as Vaughn Temple on the grass hits the barrier.
And he's gonna stop? No, he's going to continue. Yeah, Tommy Martin Jr. I think he might have started from the pits.
Meanwhile, it has closed up for the lead, and Zach Hill's going to look at the inside of Keith Lyons into the hairpin. Does not dare break deep enough, but did our leader and bump behind them between Jared Fortner and Isaac Shavira. I think Jared gets through. So close for the top 4, like I said it might be.
Yeah, great racing so far up front.
Keith Lyons holds on to the lead, but Zach Hill is looking to impress in Japan. Tries to brake with 2 wheels on the dirt, and you can't do that in these cars. He'll try and spit you sideways, but he holds onto the slide. Got this back and forth left-right hairpin complex towards the end of the lap. Really focuses on getting to the tight line and making the car turn. And they stay close. I see him about only 0.2 of a second apart into the final corner. Keith takes a wider entry. Zach does. And Keith is out onto the gravel and loses the lead. Through goes Zach to lead the first lap.
Now the field's starting to get stretched out here a bit as we come around to start the second lap. Our third place runner pushes up a little bit out of the group. Everyone else pretty tidy, right on the racing line.
What's the weather like here today, Alex? Because I'm seeing some people looking like it might be a bit slippery out there.
It's partly cloudy with 78 degrees freedom units. That's 108.3 degrees of track temperature. The wind is out of the north at 2 miles an hour. So I would have to say this is what I would call a typical day in the iRacing universe.
All right. Well, on the back straight there, Jared Fortner just ahead of Jason Kinzer. Jason Kinzer moves to the inside. How deep will he dare brake? Keeps it side by side, and I think he does get it stopped in time. It's a long corner. I don't think you can hold it on the outside line there unless you've got a bit more overlap going in.
Yeah, that was a nice move there. Jared Fortner.
So, yeah.
Making a good move.
Let's run down the top 5 now, because we've seen a few changes of position even in our first 2 laps. So I'm seeing Zach Hill is leading at the moment. He got past our pole sitter Keith Lyons. Then it's Isaac Shavira, Jason Kinzer, and Jared Fortner in 5th. And then they're all pretty close together. I'm seeing about 5.5 seconds from 1st through to 5th as Keith Lyons goes wide out the last corner. It looks like Isaac Shavira will get the run on him. Yeah, Keith Lyons going backwards a little bit. Will Jason Kinzer have enough momentum? Goes to the inside. They come towards the braking zone at T1. He's not as bold on the brakes, but he makes it work.
Yeah, we see.
Oh,
That was very close.
Contact between all of them there. Wow, was that car a lap down? I think that was Michelle
Yes.
Liriano, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was the 9 car of Michelle. Oh, Michelle. And Michelle just goes off track, just spins. Oh, wow. He took out the top 3. That's amazing.
And I'm hearing some team radio chatter. Some of those drivers are not happy with Liriano. He spun it and then right in front of the leaders started moving back onto the racing line. They could have been more cautious, but still, that's changed the face of this race as Zach Hill continues to lead, as Isaac Shavira in second, and the team radio is still going on. Some unhappy drivers there who feel like they've been robbed of a potentially good finish.
Well, I have to agree with him there. Michelle made the mistake that I'm preaching to my drivers about, and I was preaching about it earlier today. Hold the brake. He spun. He came to a stop. If he would have just held the brake, everyone could have got through. But right as the cars approached, he decided to put it in gear and pull forward. At that point, they had nowhere to go. They couldn't even make a plan for anything. Who would think that he would do something so stupid? And then, boom, now second, third, and fourth out of the race. Zach Hill, you're welcome. Enjoy
he was already
your uncontested victory.
He was already out of position for a win or a particularly good result. Once he got those wheels on the dirt and he was off track, probably should have just stayed out there until everyone else was through.
Well, even, mistakes happen. Once he spun onto the track, he needed to hold the brake. He sat still for a second or two and then decided, well, now's a great time to spin it around. If he would have held the brake there, he would have at least given a line on the inside, and that's where all the drivers were headed. But once he dropped the clutch, they had nowhere to go, and that was that. And you saw it.
Yeah, just a lack of awareness of who was around him on track and just not thinking about the race as a whole and just what he was up to and not looking backwards, not checking his relative or looking in his mirrors at all.
Yeah, and I know these drivers here are trying to make a name for themselves, and they're gutted. I'm gutted for the fans at home that were robbed of a great race that we were starting to see form up there. We had those 3 cars all under a blanket, and then they were just taken out of the race. So let's go to our leader. Let's run him through the field here. Take it from the top. Oh. All right, we've got a replay of Liriano.
Not a good day for Mr. Liriano.
Do you think he's
out of
having
New York.
pedal problems, or maybe? Do you think we should refer him to Corey Barrett?
Even that'd be unfair. Look, I think it might even just be a case of brake fade, or even brain fade.
Yeah.
You took the words out of my mouth there, Alex. It's like we've known each other for a while.
Which we have. And
True
so
that,
next time
indeed.
by will be 5 to go, right around the halfway point here. Zach Hill is your leader. He's got about 12 seconds here over Jared Fortner. About 3 seconds farther back will be Ricardo Tatiyama. Then Tommy Martin Jr. will be a further about 20 seconds back. Then we have Vaughn Temple, who is about 38 seconds behind your leader. And Isaac Shavira will be the last car on the lead lap. Right about, I would say, a minute and a half behind your leader.
Now, Alex, earlier you were saying some of these drivers are looking to make a name for themselves. And there's one name that some people will be remembering, but I don't think anyone will be going to Michele Liriano with a contract for him to sign after this showing.
No, I'm afraid there's two ways to get known in motorsports, and he did it the Kevin LePage way. And while everyone will know your name and you will be famous, you won't have many rides.
Yes, might be some spectators asking for his autograph, but no one will be handing him anything else to sign that will be worthwhile.
Right, and as we're hearing now from our people down in the paddock, Liriano has left the paddock. They think that he snuck out in the back of a minivan under a blanket. He was so scared of the mechanics from the other teams. So hopefully he learned something from that and can come back next week and give us a better result. So yeah, Zach Hill starting to walk away with it here. Zach has opened it up to now 15 seconds. If we go back to Fortner, it's a better race. We have Tateyama working on him. They're both running about the same lap speed. So, you know, unless Tateyama finds something, you know, quite a bit of something at that, he's going to have a hard time running him down without a mistake out of Fortner. Right now, it's our 2-3-1 cars, and everyone familiar with iRacing numbering, that is the strength of the competitors in this field. So the top three, based on iRating, based on their previous races, are these guys. So I guess there's really no surprises. We work a little bit farther back in the field, and we have Tommy Martin Jr. Tommy Martin Jr. is a driver out of the Midwest looking to make a name for himself here in Japan. Tommy's well known through the Midwest. He's a dirt slinger, a short tracker, an oval racer from way back. And Tommy's made the long flight over here to Japan to make a name for himself in the rookie MX5 Cup with the Global Mazda Series here on iRacing. And he's giving it a good run tonight. The fourth place showing, he's about 38 seconds behind your leader there at the last time by the line, but he's able to keep that gap under 40 seconds as we run right now. But the next person I want to talk about is the person that I think we're going to be talking more about as this race progresses, and that's Vaughn Temple, because he's catching one Tommy Martin Jr. at quite the clip here. Vaughn Temple right a little over 1 second a lap faster than Tommy Martin that last time by. Vaughn races out of the Northwest Club. So Vaughn, you know, the Asia Pacific Ring is his stomping grounds. I think that we're gonna have quite the little battle on our hands here if Vaughn can keep it up. It looks like someone's told Tommy to stand on the loud pedal, David.
Yeah, you're quite right. Lap before this one, Vaughn Temple closed in 1.2 seconds. Vaughn Temple about to come over the line. We'll see what their times were last time around. It was 54.4 from Tommy Martin and a 56.4 from Vaughn Temple. So
we lost some time there.
Yeah, I've seen watching both of them struggle with a little bit of push through the corners. If you don't put the car in right, if you don't sort of brake inputs and sort of gently try and tip the car into the corner, get some rotation, you can start understeering the front tires and then you lose a whole bunch of time doing that. So these guys might need to be a little patient and focus more on their corner exit than their corner entry if they're looking for some good laps. But I've got my eye on the timing screen. I'm hoping to see a red box around these two drivers soon. Be good with 4 laps to go as they are now, if we could get some racing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think just like on the ovals, the same technique applies, especially here in the hairpin turns, to slow in, fast out. Tommy Martin Jr. holding a very pretty wheel through the hairpin there. Vaughn Temple just not able to keep it on the line, and I think this is where he's losing the time. Yeah, so let's go ahead and ride on board with Vaughn Temple for, well, no, you know what? Let's see how it's done at the front. Your leader, Zach Hill. We're going to ride along here as he works through the turn 4 complex.
Indeed, that section of corner has been widened, straightened a little bit since F1 visited here in 94 and 95. I'm sure some of these drivers be very pleased to have an outing on a circuit that formerly hosted Formula One. They might be telling some of their fans or their family about that.
Funny story. I'm actually going to be racing on a Formula One circuit this weekend.
That's exciting. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I'll be at the Watkins Glen circuit for the Champ Car event. I'll be there with the HJ Motorsports team. We'll be the silver trailer in the paddock with the big HJ on the side. So look for us and stop on by. We have a cooler full of Dickens cider, and we'd love to meet you.
And I hope you have a really good weekend, and good luck to all of your guys, Alex. Unfortunately, the trip's just a bit too far for me to commit to coming to see you this time, but best of luck to you. On the racing that we're seeing in front of us, though, good lap so far by Zach Hill. His previous lap, a 150.9, more than 3 seconds faster than anyone else out on the track. So while some contact and some mistakes from some back markers sort of secured his lead, he's doing everything perfect right now to keep extending that gap, as he has 2 laps to go now. He keeps extending that lead backwards to second place Jared Fortner, who's still looking, keeping the gap constant, about 4 seconds ahead of Ricardo Tatiyama. Then it's a bigger gap back to Tommy Martin Jr. and Vaughn Temple. Tommy Martin must have had some sloppier laps earlier, but at the moment he's extending that gap, and Vaughn Temple isn't closing in for 4th place.
So it looks like one of the fastest cars on the track is Isaac Shavira. Shavira. Those hips don't lie. It's just too bad that he had to make that stop earlier in the race. It's put him a lap down here. He's got quite the pace, but it's really hard to recover from a double pit stop in a short 10-lap race here at the Okayama International Circuit.
You're right. Just as I was looking at those times, Isaac Shavira put in a very good one.
Here's the race we need to watch. Coming into the braking zone, there's a big block by the 3 on the 1. Tatiyama, he's there, but not quite with the overlap. It's going to be 1 to go this time by. Let's watch this rest of the way. Can we ride on board with Tatiyama? Oh, it's Tatiyama. I put the jinx on him, and I think that's that. So let's pull off that.
One
so
more
we
lap
can,
after this.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to close it down. Let's just go ahead and pull back out to run down through the field. So there's our leader starting the last lap, Zach Hill. Zach out of the Carolina Club with a very commanding lead.
He pumps in another good lap of 151.5. And in second, Jared Fortner. Third, Ricardo Tatiyama do Brasil, bringing a little bit more Portuguese to the paddock. Tommy Martin Jr. from the Midwest, we talked about him. He's still holding on to 4th, keeping that gap steady to 5th, Vaughn Temple. Isaac Shavira, whereabouts is he? Okay, putting in good laps, but I don't think he'll get his.
He's down here on the short shoot. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think there's enough time for him to unlap himself. He's nearly 2 laps down. But Shavira, he's continuing to soldier on. What was that, director? Yep, so we're here with our leader as he turns onto the short chute. Underneath the pedestrian bridge, he'll shortly go. We see him take the other part of the track. Yeah, this is the part of the track that I have to say I find to be the most difficult. There's a couple lines you can take through this corner right here Oh,
He takes one that gets a bit of grass, but I'm not sure that'll trouble him with 2 more corners to go. Quick descending right-hander, look out for understeer there. You brake properly for the final corner. Easy to run wide there as well. But our leader, Zach Hill, he keeps it, puts the foot in. He comes towards the checkered flag. In the air, it waves, and Zach Hill will be our winner. Rather commanding gap, so let's go look back at second place.
So we have Jared Fortner now working through these same tricky corners. Oh, and he gets a bit of the oversteer here as he comes to the penultimate corner at the pit entry. Lifts a little bit through the kink. Braking here for the final corner. Gets it pitched in, aimed off, stands on the loud pedal and points it towards the finish line. As Jared approaches the line, let's cut back to Ricardo Tateyama as he enters the final straight for the final time. And
he crosses the line. Good on him. That's our podium there. And
here
what will we
comes
do
Tommy
now,
Martin
Alex?
Jr. Tommy Martin Jr. I think he wins the long toe award out here to Japan out of the Midwest Club. 4th place, Tommy Martin Jr. Congratulations. And then just a little further back, rounding out the lead lap, will be Vaughn Temple. So congratulations to our top 5, and an even bigger congratulations to our podium. But like I mentioned, really no shock there when the top 3 iRating guys come and take the top 3 positions.
Though I'll tell you who did impress me, though, with Jared Fortner up 3 places from where he started. So he started in 5th on the grid and managed to get 2nd place there. So good on him, Jared Fortner.
Yeah, he's a big mover in the positive direction. The only person who moved more spots was someone who moved in the wrong direction. We don't ever want to talk about that here in Bottom Split Theater. So congratulations again to Zach Hill. And I think we saw another great night of racing. Shame that mistake earlier by the driver from New York happened, but in the end we still saw some great racing. So I want to thank you from myself, David Haynes, Michael Derby, the rest of the Bottom Split Theater team. This is Alex Albert. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and mahalo.
Good night, everyone.